Namaste students, welcome back to my channel. Students, in this video, we will take a new atomic property. Students, in our previous video, we have studied about the two atomic properties. These two atomic properties were atomic radii and the ionization enthalpy. Now, in this video, we will take a new atomic property, that is the electron gain enthalpy. In this video, we will talk about the definition of electron gain enthalpy, the factors affecting electron gain enthalpy, variation of electron gain enthalpy in our periodic table, and the questions related to electron gain enthalpy. So without any delay, let's get started. First, we will talk about the definition of the electron gain enthalpy. Now, what is electron gain enthalpy? Just like ionization enthalpy, electron gain enthalpy is also an energy change. But ionization enthalpy is the amount of the energy required to remove an electron from the isolated gaseous atom to make it isolated gaseous cation. But electron gain enthalpy is the amount of the energy released. Electron gain enthalpy is the amount of the energy released to convert a gaseous isolated atom into a gaseous anion. This is the difference. Both ionization enthalpy and the electron gain enthalpy are the energy change, but electron gain enthalpy is the amount of the energy released when an extra electron is accepted by an isolated gaseous atom to convert it into an isolated gaseous anion. That amount of energy released is known as electron gain enthalpy. So basically, electron gain enthalpy tells about the ease with which an atom accepts an extra electron. Means more the amount of the energy released during the acceptance of an electron, more will be the easy for that particular atom to accept an extra electron. So the definition is energy released when an extra electron is accepted by an isolated gaseous atom to convert it into anion. This is known as electron gain enthalpy. So electron gain enthalpy tells about the ease with which an atom accepts an extra electron. Means, what does this mean? This means that more the energy released, greater is the ease to accept an electron. Now, the symbol of electron gain enthalpy will designate the electron gain enthalpy by delta EgH. Electron gain enthalpy. The delta H is the symbol of enthalpy and Eg represent that it is electron gain enthalpy, because in other chapters, in next chapters, we will study that we have different forms of enthalpy. So one form of enthalpy is electron gain enthalpy, and we represent this enthalpy as delta EgH. Now, the value of delta EgH for most of the reaction is negative. Now, why it is negative? Now, suppose I have a gaseous atom A. And it is accepting an electron. And get converted into a negative. Now, according to the definition, this atom release energy when it is accepting this electron, it means the energy of product. It means the energy of product. Energy of product, and this is energy of reactant. So energy of product is less than that of the reactant. Energy of product is less than that of the reactant. Why it is less than? Because this reactant, when accepting electron, releasing energy. Means in this product, the amount of the energy is less because some amount of energy is released. So energy of product is less than that of the reactant. Now what is enthalpy? Enthalpy is an energy change. Enthalpy is the energy of the product minus energy of reactant. Now out of product and reactant, whose energy is greater? Reactant. And in front of the reactant we have negative sign. That's why the value of delta EGH is negative. The value of delta EGH is negative. More negative value means more amount of energy is released, and more amount of energy is released means it is the tendency of this particular atom to accept the electron. That's why it is releasing more amount of energy. This is the first point. So for most of the reactions, why I am using here most of the reaction? Because if we talk about noble gases, in noble gases we know that we have fully filled octet configuration. So it becomes very difficult for us to remove electron from the noble gases as well as to give electron to the noble gases. So it is very difficult for the noble gases to accept an extra electron because they are already in their stable form. So that's why they will not release energy when they accept electron. We have to supply energy externally to for them so that they can accept an extra electron. So in noble gases, the amount of energy is given by us. That's why in that case, delta EGH becomes positive. That's why I am using here the word most. So in most of the reaction, delta EGH is negative. Now, if we talk about second electron gain enthalpy, the second electron gain enthalpy is always positive. The second gain in enthalpy is always positive. This is the second fact. First is clear to you that in most of the reaction, electron gain enthalpy is negative. But if we talk about second electron gain enthalpy, then second electron gain enthalpy is always positive. Clear? Even in those atoms in which the first electron gain enthalpy is very negative, in those atoms also the second electron gain enthalpy is positive. Now the reason behind this, when we supply one electron to an atom, it get converted into an anion. So it already accept an extra electron. Now we want that the atom accept one more extra electron. So there is an interelectronic repulsion between the first electron which was accepted by that atom and the second electron which was supplied by us. So there is an electron-electron repulsion between these two, and to overcome this electronic repulsion we have to supply energy from outside. So because of the outside supply of the energy, the enthalpy change becomes positive. Suppose if I talk about sulfur, we know that sulfur is a non-metal and non-metal has a strong tendency to gain electron. So whenever they gain electron, they release energy. So S plus electron, it becomes S negative. So this time sulfur is accepting only one extra electron. So at this time delta EGH becomes minus 200 kilojoule per mole. Now I have S negative and I want S negative to accept one more extra electron. Now there is an interelectronic repulsion between this electron and this electron. So to overcome these repulsion, we have to supply energy from the outside as a result of which it get converted into S2 negative, but in this case the delta EGH becomes plus 590 kilojoule per mole. Why it becomes plus? Because we have to supply an extra energy from the outside. And why we have to supply extra energy from the outside? Because in this case, because in second case there is an electronic repulsion. So if you remember, in the ionization enthalpy we studied that the successive ionization enthalpy, it means if we talk about the second ionization enthalpy is always greater than the first ionization enthalpy. But in this case we say that the second ionization enthalpy is always positive, though our first ionization enthalpy is negative, but still our second electron gain enthalpy is always positive. Second electron gain enthalpy is always positive because of inter-electronic repulsion. Electronic repulsion, we have to supply an extra energy from the outside. That's why second electron gain enthalpy always positive. And what do you mean by successive electron gain enthalpy? Successive electron gain enthalpy means the amount of the energy change. Here we will use the amount of the energy change. If you have asked that what is electron gain enthalpy, so you will say that amount of the energy released. Clear? Because generally we are talking about the first electron gain enthalpy. But in successive electron gain enthalpy, we are dealing with the first, second, third, fourth and so on. So in that case, we will say that the amount of the energy change when an extra electron is added by an gaseous atom, or when an extra electron is accepted by a gaseous species, that is the successive electron gain enthalpy. Here, this is first, this is second, third, and so on. In nitrogen, we get third electron gain enthalpy also. So, in that case, the second electron gain enthalpy is always positive, though we have a negative first electron gain enthalpy. So, this is the definition of the electron gain enthalpy. Now, we will talk about the factors affecting electron gain enthalpy. What are the different factors which affects electron gain enthalpy? So we have three factors which affects the electron gain enthalpy, and those three factors are: first, nuclear charge; second, atomic size; and third one is the electronic configuration. So first one is nuclear charge. Now, greater the nuclear charge, greater is the tendency of an atom to accept an extra electron. So higher negative is the electron gain enthalpy. We never say here that greater the nuclear charge, higher is the electron gain enthalpy. Because higher means, if we talk about, if we compare -10 and 0, which one is greater? Obviously 0. So we say in this electron gain enthalpy, we, instead of saying higher, we say more negative. So greater the nuclear charge, greater is the nuclear force of attraction, and more negative is the electron gain enthalpy. So greater the nuclear charge, more negative is the electron gain enthalpy, because if the nuclear charge is more, then the atom has a greater tendency to accept an electron, and if an atom has a greater tendency to accept an electron, then it releases a large amount of energy, as a result of which we get more negative electron gain enthalpy. The second factor is atomic size. As our atomic size increases, due to the increase in the atomic size, the distance from the nucleus, the distance between the nucleus and the outermost shell, in which we are adding an extra electron. So the distance between the nucleus and the outermost shell increases due to the increase in the atomic size. And if the distance between the nucleus and the outermost shell increases, the force of attraction decreases. due to the decrease in the force of the attraction, it becomes difficult for that atom to accept an extra electron, as a result of which we get less negative amount of electron gain enthalpy, and in some cases we get positive electron gain enthalpy. So larger atomic size, less negative electron gain enthalpy. Larger atomic size, less negative is the electron gain enthalpy. Why? Because due to larger atomic size, distance from between the nucleus and the outermost shell increases, as a result of which nuclear force of attraction decreases, and it becomes difficult for an atom to accept an extra electron. Now the third is electronic configuration. The third factor is electronic configuration. Electronic configuration. Now, in our previous videos, we have studied that half-filled and fully filled orbitals are stable as compared to the partially filled orbitals. So, if we have half-filled or fully filled orbitals, then what happens? It becomes difficult for us to add an extra electron in those orbitals, and for adding an extra electron in those orbitals, we have to supply an external energy, as a result of which our electron gain enthalpy becomes positive. Our electron gain enthalpy becomes positive. So, in case of half-filled and fully filled orbitals, due to the stability of the orbitals, we get positive electron gain enthalpy. So these are three factors which affects the electron gain enthalpy, that is nuclear charge, atomic size and electronic configuration. Now we will study the variation of electron gain enthalpy. What we will study? The variation of electron gain enthalpy in our periodic table. First of all, we will talk in groups. Now, in general, if we talk, as we move top to down or top to bottom in a group, what happens? Both nuclear charge as well as the atomic size increases. But the effect of atomic size dominate over the effect of increased nuclear charge, as a result of which what happened? The effective nuclear charge decreases. In our previous video, I have told you the difference between the nuclear charge and the effective nuclear charge. Nuclear charge is the actual charge exerted by the nucleus of an atom, whereas effective nuclear charge is the charge experienced by an electron. The nuclear charge of an atom, that is the nuclear charge, means the force of attraction created by an nucleus of an atom, that is the nuclear charge. But the actual force of attraction which is experienced by an atom, that is effective nuclear charge. It is not necessary that effective nuclear charge always equal to the actual nuclear charge. So, in groups, as we move top to bottom in a group, what happens? Size increases. Due to the increase in the size, effective nuclear charge decreases. And due to the decrease in the effective nuclear charge, it becomes difficult for an atom to accept an extra electron, as a result of which electron gain enthalpy becomes less and less negative. So in general, if we write that on moving top to bottom in a group, electron gain enthalpy becomes less and less negative. But if we talk about the 16th and the 17th group, if we move to 16th and 17th group, in 16th group, first we have oxygen, then we have sulfur. In 17th group, first member is fluorine and the second member is chlorine. So according to this concept, what should be there? The electron gain enthalpy of oxygen should be more negative than that of the sulfur, and the electron gain enthalpy of fluorine should be more negative than that of the chlorine. But the electron gain enthalpy of sulfur is more negative than oxygen. More negative than oxygen. Similarly, the electron gain enthalpy of chlorine is more negative than that of the fluorine. Now this is against this rule. This is against this rule. Now what is the reason behind this? We have a reason for every question. Now what is the reason behind this? The reason behind this, due to the small size of oxygen and fluorine. If we see the configuration of oxygen, the last shell of oxygen is 2p, subshell is 2p, 2p4, and here it is 3p4. Fluorine 2p5, and here it is 3p5. Means in last subshell the number of electrons are same. If we talk about oxygen and sulfur, in last subshell we have 4 electrons, but in this the size is greater than that of the oxygen. Means if in oxygen, if 2p is this, so in sulfur the 3p is like this. The size is greater. If the size is greater, then the 4 electrons are distributed in a wide area. And if 4 electrons are distributed in a wide area, it means no greater electron density is present at a particular area. As a result of which, the coming electron will experience less repulsion by these electrons, because these electrons are spreaded in a large area. For example, suppose we have a bowl of water. And when we are keeping that bowl of water in the bowl, it take a long time to evaporate. But when we spread that bowl of water in a floor, then what happens? In a very less time it get evaporated, because in the floor it is distributed in a wide range. So similarly, here the 4 electrons are spreaded in a small area, but in this the same number of electrons are spreaded in a wide range. As a result of which, the electron density at a particular point is less as compared to 2p, and therefore they exert less repulsion to the coming electron. As a result of which, in this case, there is no electronic repulsion, but in oxygen the coming electron experienced an electronic repulsion. The coming electron experience repulsion by the electrons which are already present in the oxygen. So to overcome this repulsion, we have to apply some amount of energy from the outside. As a result of which, the amount of energy released is less negative as compared to sulfur. Clear or not? In oxygen we have 2p subshell, and in 2p subshell we have 4 electrons. So 4 electrons are distributed in 2p subshell, and this is this volume only. But in sulfur, the same number of electrons have this much volume to spread, as a result of which they experience less repulsion to the coming electron. And if they experience less repulsion to the coming electron, the sulfur nucleus easily attract the coming electron and release the energy. That's why we get a negative electron gain enthalpy. But in oxygen, though the nucleus is attracting the electron, but the electrons which are already present in the oxygen, they are opposing the electron. And to overcome that particular repulsion, we have to supply an external energy, and due to the supply of the external energy, the energy release become less negative as compared to the sulfur. And similar problem occur in fluorine and chlorine. In fluorine, it is 2p, and we have 5 electron here, and it is 3p, and we have only 5 electron. So in this, the electron density is less as compared to this, therefore the electron experience repulsion more in this, as a result of which the energy release become less negative. So yes, in other group, if we observe in other group, on moving top to bottom in a group, the electron gain enthalpy becomes less and less negative. But if we talk about 16th and 17th group, the electron gain enthalpy of sulfur is more negative than that of the oxygen, and the electron gain enthalpy of chlorine is more negative than that of the fluorine. Clear? Now next we will talk about the periods. So we know that as we move left to right in a period, what happens? Atomic size decreases. Due to the decrease in the atomic size, it becomes easy for an atom to attract the extra electron, so electron gain enthalpy becomes more and more negative. And because of this reason, the halogen in their respective period have the most negative electron gain enthalpy. So what happens as we move left to right in a period, the electron gain enthalpy becomes more and more negative, and because of this reason, halogens in their respective period have most negative electron gain enthalpy. So now there is a question in your mind that as we move left to right in our periodic table, we have noble gases at the end. So why we are saying that halogens have the most negative electron gain enthalpy? Because we already studied that in noble gases, the electron gain enthalpy becomes positive due to this factor. And if we talk about nitrogen and oxygen, then also in nitrogen we get positive electron gain enthalpy because of half-filled configuration. But in oxygen, again we get the negative electron gain enthalpy. So as we move left to right in our period, what happened? Electron gain enthalpy becomes more and more negative, but the halogens have positive electron gain enthalpy due to the fully filled configuration. Now we'll do some questions so that the concept of electron gain enthalpy becomes more clear to you. So the first question is, arrange the elements in order of increasing electron gain enthalpy. Now we have to arrange these electronic configurations in the increasing order of electron gain enthalpy. Now in the conceptual questions of electron gain enthalpy, there is a confusion, because we know that electron gain enthalpy, the value of electron gain enthalpy is negative. Now the tendency to remove electron means more the tendency to remove electron, greater is the negative electron gain enthalpy. I am focusing from the starting of this video that the greater negative electron gain enthalpy. So here increasing electron gain enthalpy doesn't mean greater negative electron gain enthalpy. Increasing electron gain enthalpy means from negative to positive, So this is the confusion in the conceptual questions of the electron gain enthalpy. So in this we have to arrange these electronic configuration in the increasing order of electron gain enthalpy. Means first we will write the more negative value, then less negative value, then more less negative value, then finally the positive electron gain enthalpy value, because the positive electron gain enthalpy value is the greater value, not greater negative, but yes, it is a greater value. So we have four different electronic configuration. If I write here, the first electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p, 5. The second electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p, 4. The third one is 1s2, 2s2, 2p, 3. And the fourth one is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p4. So first of all, we'll see that is any of the electronic configuration has fully filled or half filled configuration. So if we observe the third electronic configuration have half filled configuration. It means in this we have to supply an external energy for the entry of an extra electron. That's why its electron gain enthalpy becomes positive. So this one has the greatest electron gain enthalpy. This one has the greatest electron gain enthalpy because in this the electron gain enthalpy becomes positive. Now out of these three, in this we have 2p5, in this we have 2p4, and in this we have 3p4. So if we observe these three configuration, in this configuration, that is 2p5, it requires only one electron to complete its octet configuration. So it can easily accept an electron, and electron gain enthalpy tells the ease with which an extra electron is added. So it easily accepts an extra electron, as a result of which the electron gain enthalpy becomes more negative. So it has the most negative electron gain enthalpy, means the lowest value of the electron gain enthalpy in increasing order. So our first is in increasing order, first answer is the first option because it has the most negative electron gain enthalpy. Now after this we have these two configuration. Now in these two configuration we have 4 electron in both the configuration. We have p subshell and we have 4 electron. Now here it is 2p and here it is 3p. So it becomes easy for us to add electron in which atom? This atom. We have in this atom, because we have studied the exception in our just right now we have studied the exception. 2p4 means this is the electronic configuration of oxygen and this is the electronic configuration of sulfur. So it is easy for us to add electron in this subshell because in this we get the inter-electronic repulsion. So after this we get negative electron gain enthalpy in this. This is the most negative electron gain enthalpy, then this one less negative electron gain enthalpy than this, but more negative electron gain enthalpy than this. So the next answer is 4, then second, and the greatest electron gain enthalpy is of third one. Clear? Difference is clear or not? Electron gain enthalpy value comes in negative, but here it is written that increasing electron gain enthalpy. Increasing electron gain enthalpy doesn't mean that you have to write the answer on the basis of more negative electron gain enthalpy. Increasing negative electron gain enthalpy means you have to apply the mathematical operation. In mathematics, we know that if we have to compare -10 with 0, 0 is greater one. Means if we arrange -10, -6 and 0 in the increasing order, we will arrange -10, then -6, then 0. So same way we have to arrange in this also, in electron gain enthalpy. So the definition of electron gain enthalpy is different, but while answering, but yes, if it is written in the question that arrange the elements in the order of increasing negative electron gain enthalpy, if it is mentioned in the question, then you will apply the actual concept, but here it is written only increasing electron gain enthalpy. So this is our answer. Now we will do the second question through which this concept becomes more clear to you. So in our second question we have to arrange the elements in the order of decreasing electron gain enthalpy. Decreasing electron gain enthalpy means the greatest electron gain enthalpy doesn't mean most negative. Greatest become most positive. Greatest become most positive. So here we have 4 different atoms. We have 4 different atoms: boron, carbon, nitrogen and oxygen. Clear? Now boron, the configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p, 1. Carbon, the configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p, 2. Nitrogen configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p, 3. Oxygen configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p, 4. So if we observe the configuration, the third one is the most stable configuration. So we have to supply energy from the outside so that it gain an extra electron. That's why its value becomes positive. That's why its value becomes positive. So this nitrogen has the greatest electron gain enthalpy. Greatest electron gain enthalpy, but not most negative electron gain enthalpy. I am saying this again and again, don't confuse in this. Greatest electron gain enthalpy, but not most negative electron gain enthalpy. So nitrogen has the greatest electron gain enthalpy. So first we will write nitrogen. Then we have boron, carbon and oxygen. Out of boron, carbon and oxygen, boron has the least tendency to accept electron. If boron has the least tendency to accept electron, then its electron gain enthalpy becomes less negative than carbon and oxygen. So the second answer is boron. Now out of carbon and oxygen, carbon has less tendency to accept electron as compared to oxygen. Therefore, the next answer is carbon and the last answer is oxygen. So in this way, you will arrange the elements or the electronic configurations in the increasing order or in the decreasing order of the electron gain enthalpy. Increasing order of electron gain enthalpy means first you will write the most negative value and last you will write the most positive value. And decreasing electron gain enthalpy means first you will write the most positive value and last you will write the most negative value. This you have to write. Now we will do one numerical which is based on the electron gain enthalpy. The question is the electron gain enthalpy of chlorine. The electron gain enthalpy of chlorine is minus 349 kilojoule per mole. It means first electron gain enthalpy is this. So the electron gain enthalpy of chlorine is minus 349 kilojoule per mole. Means we have 1 mole of chlorine atom. We have 1 mole of chlorine atom. And this 1 mole of chlorine atom is converted into 1 mole of chlorine ion. And for the conversion of 1 mole of chlorine atom into 1 mole of chlorine ion, the delta EgH becomes minus 349 kilojoule per mole. Now 1 mole means 35.5 gram. 1 mole means 35.5 gram. We have studied in mole concept. 1 mole means 35.5 gram because 1 mole of an atom means its atomic mass. Now, how much energy is released when 3.55 gram of chlorine is completely converted into chloride ion? So, we have to calculate the amount of the energy released when 3.55 gram of chlorine is converted into the chloride ion and completely converted into the chloride ion. So, when we have 35.5 gram of chlorine, when we have 35.5 gram of chlorine and when this 35.5 gram of chlorine is converted into the chloride ion, completely converted into the chloride ion, the amount of energy released is 349 kilojoule per mole, and we have to calculate when we have 3.55 gram of chlorine. When we have 3.55 gram of chlorine, so here we will apply the rule that if 35.5 gram of chlorine is equals to 349 kilojoule per mole, then we will apply here unitary method. So it becomes 349 multiplied by this sum in the multiplication, that is 3.55 divided by this comes in divide, that is 35.5, and through this we get 34.9 kilojoule per mole. So our answer becomes 34.9 kilojoule per mole. Clear? The question is based on the mole concept. We have to know the mole concept, then only we can solve this question. So if 35.5 gram of chlorine atom release 349 kilojoule of energy when converted into the chloride ion, then 3.55 gram of chlorine release this much amount of energy. So in this way, you can do the numericals as well as the conceptual questions based on electron gain enthalpy. So do more and more conceptual questions based on the electron gain enthalpy and kept in mind whether what is given in the question, whether it is given in increasing electron gain enthalpy, decreasing electron gain enthalpy, or increasing negative electron gain enthalpy, decreasing negative electron gain enthalpy. What is given in the question? Read the question carefully and then solve that particular question of electron gain enthalpy. So students, that's all for today. I'll see you in my next video with a new atomic property.